Hey guys, it's Man89 here, and welcome to the third episode of Versus. On the first one we had Xbox One versus PS4, on the second one we had PUBG versus Fortnite, and on today's episode we're going to be looking at Assassin's Creed Odyssey and The Witcher 3. Which one is the better or even the best open world RPG? And before we get started, don't forget to smash 100 likes if you want to see more of the series, and also suggest the games you want to see on the next episode. And if you're new to the channel, check out my other vids, see if you like them, and subscribe if you do. Also, one last thing, please, before you comment, or maybe when you comment, add some arguments. Don't just say,
"Hey man, The Witcher 3 is obviously better."
Or maybe, "Hey, fuck you, boy, Assassin's Creed is the best." So we're gonna start with the pros and cons of each game, and then at the end of the vid, we'll determine which one is the best open world RPG. And we're gonna start with the graphics. In my opinion, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I know it just came out and The Witcher came out in 2015, and that's why I used some mods to make it look a little bit better. That being said, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is still a lot more beautiful, and it's only running on medium settings on my PC because, you know, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get to, or at least to get close to 60 FPS. So don't take my footage into consideration and look up some Odyssey vids when it's maxed out on PC and you'll see how beautiful it is. That being said, some materials still look better on The Witcher 3, like leather, armors, you know, metal, stuff like that. I think the facial animations also look a little bit better on The Witcher 3, but apart from that, everything else looks amazing on Odyssey. And speaking of animations, I found some of The Witcher 3's animations very stiff, like running and jumping. It doesn't look good. Like, the graphics are really good, but sometimes, you know, when your character moves or when he gets stuck or something, it really doesn't look good. Now, what I like about The Witcher is that it's a mature game and it fully assumes that, you know, there's dismemberment, sex scenes, nudity, all that kind of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, there's blood on Odyssey, and actually there's tons of blood, but you feel like they don't want to take it a step further. And that feeling goes throughout the game because, for example, the side quests, they're not deep at all. They're obviously good for getting XP and they're easy to do, but the problem is they only make sense if you are a nobody, like a level 1 dude, a noob who just showed up. Okay, but you're supposed to be a fucking legend and people still use you as a pizza delivery guy. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Which takes me to the next point. Odyssey doesn't have deep enough RPG elements. Even though they stole or borrowed some stuff from The Witcher 3, it's still a little bit too light. On The Witcher 3 though, there's a real crafting system, alchemy, looting, like manual looting, not just automatic where you press a button and you pick up everything like on Odyssey. Degradable weapons and armors, and you can even customize your hairstyle and your facial hair. But let's not forget that the combat system is only average on The Witcher. While it's great on Odyssey, it's a lot better than The Witcher's combat system for some reason. And in my opinion, Odyssey offers you a lot more freedom than The Witcher 3. It's not just a huge map, you know, you can explore ancient Greece, okay, but there are ship battles, you can dive underwater, you can find some treasures, you can even kill almost everyone. But The Witcher 3 has something that Odyssey doesn't have, which is an addictive card game called Gwent. And it's so good that it'll make you forget about some of your quests. You can play for money, you can play for cards, but even if you played for nothing, it's really fun and it's very addictive. Now, like I said, the combat system on The Witcher 3 is only average, but the game is a lot more challenging than Odyssey. Odyssey is way too easy. When you reach maybe level 20, something like that, it becomes way too easy. Plus you can spam some pussy ass techniques, which I obviously did because I'm a piece of shit, but I used to play the stealthy way. I used to do things right. Then I tried another approach, you know. I go to a camp or a fort and I run around like a fool and I attract as many enemies as possible. Then I climb, I try to find a high enough spot, and then whenever somebody shows up, I just kick them, you know, with a Spartan kick, and I get rid of them easily. It's a pussy ass approach, I know, but it works. Now I have to say something. People say that The Witcher 3 is a perfect game. It's not. It never was back when it came out, and it's still not perfect 3 years later and after so many patches. I already talked about the combat system, but when you add to that the terrible controls, because I played on PC, I was gonna say PS4. I used the PS4 controller, I had some issues. Then I used the keyboard and mouse, I had tons of issues because the default key bindings were freaking horrible. But after I customized the controls, the game was a lot more enjoyable. Last but not least, when it comes to the price, Odyssey just came out, so it obviously still goes for $60, while The Witcher 3 came out 3 years ago, and you can get it for $20 or even less, maybe if you buy it from a CD key website on PC. I don't know how much the game really costs on consoles, but maybe between $20 and $30, something like that. And usually when I talk about prices, especially PC prices, People say, no, it costs 40 bucks, it costs 50 bucks. It doesn't, dude. Maybe you're talking about Steam prices, but Steam's profit margin is huge. We all have internet here, right? So just look up the cheapest prices and you'll find them. Now I'm gonna give you my final verdict in a few seconds, but keep in mind this vid is about the best open world RPG, not the best adventure game, not the best action adventure game, because if it was about that, then Odyssey would win easily, because in my opinion, it's one of the best games of 2018, and it's such a good action RPG or action adventure game, at least in my opinion. Now back to the vid, and when it comes to picking the best open world RPG game, in my opinion, even 3 years later, it's still The Witcher 3. It's definitely not perfect, it never really was, don't listen to the fanboys, the game's got some issues like all the other games, but it's a must-have. Now hopefully the next Assassin's Creed game will go a little bit deeper and will have more RPG elements, but for now Odyssey is a great game and it's also worth having. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this vid. Thanks for watching, appreciate it a lot. Leave a like if you liked it, and also if you're gonna comment on this vid, please add some argument. Don't just say, hey, fuck you, The Witcher 3 is better. Hey, fuck you, Assassin's Creed is better, okay? Just add some arguments, convince me, convince some other people. That's how it works. But anyways, subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's been Hitman89. See you guys very soon.
Give it to you. Fuck, wait for you to get it on your own.